I will now call this regular meeting of the Board of Education to order at 7:03 p.m. Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Present.
Mr. Schubert?
Here.
Ms. McCall?
Present.
Ms. Bennett? Mr. Carpenter?
Here.
Ms. Haley?
Here.
Ms. Stanford? Oh, with 5 present, 2 absent, we have a quorum.
We will now take a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. As we start each board meeting, it bears reminding and that the mission of Rockford Public Schools is to collaboratively engage all students in an equitable first-class education for a changing world. Before we go any further, I would like to thank Ms. Kim Pedersen and Aaron Hill, who are working behind the scenes to produce the broadcast via YouTube live stream and Comcast Channel 20. I wish to welcome Superintendent Student Advisory Council Representative Ben Gibbons from East High School. I would like to welcome our special guest this evening, the Honorable Mayor Tom McNamara. Mr. McNamara, the floor is yours. Yes, you can come to the podium there. And don't forget to hit the button.
I can follow directions, I think. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you. I will be brief, as McNamara can be. But when I initially asked if I could come and just speak, I just had one thank you to provide to you and this organization, but I now have several. First, I want to say thank you, Chairwoman Pearson, Superintendent Jarrett, and all the board members and the staff for the work that you do on behalf of our students each and every day. Have 4 items. One just came to my mailbox, I think it was Friday or Saturday, and it was my property taxes. And it would be a weird thing for someone to come in here and thank you, but I think for someone like me who has been tracking it, I believe if you recall back in around 2012, our city had a 15.8% property tax rate. I opened up my tax bill in 15.8% property tax rate, the highest in the state of Illinois, and our values were dropping dramatically year after year. I happily opened my tax bill, which is odd, but I did, and I noticed my property value is increasing and my tax rate is down to 10.3. I will tell you, this body, Superintendent Jarrett and this body really were the leaders in our community on making really difficult decisions when it comes to our property tax rate and corralling numerous other taxing bodies to follow your lead. We at the city did a year, I believe, after you guys led the charge, and so we've been about a decade now keeping our property tax levy flat or reducing it. You guys, I believe, are 11 or 12 years now doing the same, and just wanted to say thank you. It's noticed, it's appreciated, it's great to see property tax rates dropping and property values increasing, so thank you for your commitment. Secondly, I had this amazing opportunity last Monday to attend a Promising Futures event for Rockford Promise. Rockford Promise, the city of Rockford, Rockford Public Schools, and Northern Illinois University collaborated on an agreement about 3 years ago. And I just want you to know, I think probably the best event taking place in Rockford right now is that Promising Futures event. Today, we have 266 students, 70% of them first-generation college-going students, 60% of them young children of color, attending Northern Illinois University tuition-free. On Monday, we added another 152 students to that list. So coming this fall, we're going to have more than 325 students from Rockford Public Schools living in Rockford, working hard and earning a 3.0, now going to Northern Illinois, tuition and general fee free. And it's not lost on me also that your organization is not only incredibly supportive from the amazing teachers, incredibly hardworking principals, and all the support staff who pour into these young people, but you as a board also, A, for your commitment to the program, but B, you're putting that commitment into action with dollars. And it's seen and recognized. And if you have not, anyone who does watch this and those here, I urge you next year, make sure Rockford Promising Futures event at the Coronado is on your calendar. You will not stop smiling at the amazing young people we have doing great things. Third thing. Not that long ago, I had an opportunity, I believe last year may have been my first year, to really get to know Jason Pope, who works for Rockford Public Schools. And he has been, as well as many others, working on a partnership with Central State University. And this year I had the opportunity to have dinner with a number of faculty, the Dean of Central State University, and don't tell the dean, but more importantly, they're amazing, young, bright students who want to come to Rockford Public Schools to teach here in Rockford. And I just want to say two quick things. One is, I really think it's an amazing program that you guys should be screaming from the rooftops because we need more teachers who look like the students that they're teaching, and that partnership is really an exemplary partnership to do that. Second, you should also know I had the opportunity to sit next to the dean during dinner, and I said, well, you know, how's that partnership going? I'm itching, trying to find some complaint out there like that I can bring back and say, hey, we should try this. She said, honestly, that partnership is amazing because of Jason Pope and the team. And she said, I have, and Central State is in Ohio. She said, I have school districts in Ohio who are asking me, how can I have a partnership like Rockford Public Schools has with your students? So just kudos to you for the work that you're doing. Now, for the real reason I initially asked to come here. And it's a little bit more difficult, but I want you to know my sincere appreciation. So the week of March 27th, our city was struck just by horrific violence. We had two separate incidents that we lost 5 different individuals far too soon for their families, far too soon for our community. And I think the incidents of March 27th will have really a long-lasting impact on not just the families most directly impacted, but also on our entire city. And when you think about the losses of life of Jay, Ramona, Jacob, Jason, and then young Jenna, that was a really chaotic couple of days, and I am here just simply to say thank you to you guys. It took me about one phone call and about 45 seconds to have the staff of Rockford Public Schools immediately say, well, what do you need? We asked you to open up the doors. I believe it was Flynn Middle School. Not a hesitation, not a question, not what time do you need it? Can we get a little extra time to open it up? It was immediate. We did a partnership between Rockford Public Schools and Rosegrants. And that Thursday, because you were able to open up literally just hours after this incident, the second incident, that Thursday, I just want you to know the impact that you had. Flynn Middle School saw more than 100 families walk through those doors to receive assistance. And I've been sitting here thinking, you know, it was an honor, but it was a difficult honor to attend visitations and funerals. And I don't want to, you know, assume anything, but when you look at Jay, Ramona, Jacob, Jason, and Jenna, you can see there's differences. There's racial differences. There's parts of town differences. Probably, I'll assume, different bank accounts, and I'll make an assumption, maybe different political affiliations. And I think I've been trying to think, what is that common thing that ran through and just really devastated our community? And I think there's two big things. One is Rockford was impacted. It struck us to our core, and it's something we won't ever get over. But I also think, as we all are different, we all have one thing in common, for sure, and that's time. And it's not, how many years you'll live. It's not how many days you'll get to see or how many hours and minutes. It's really the moment that we're in right now is really all that we have truly in common, just this moment. And although it seemed like a small thing for you guys to immediately jump into action, or maybe a bigger thing for you to take time and serve on a board like this, and for your teachers to take up that amazing profession, I just want you to know I appreciate you using your moment to impact our city in a better way, and just say a sincere thank you for helping so many families that week and beyond. So thank you for all your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us and expressing those kind words. We will now recognize and celebrate outstanding contributions of our students. Unfortunately, Mrs. Bennett is preoccupied with baby board member, Baby Bennett, trying to make his way. So I'm going to ask Mr. Earl Dotson Jr. to come for this segment of celebrating our outstanding contributions of our students.
I'll do my best.
Of course.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, this is my favorite part of the board meeting. We get to celebrate all of you. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry. But I'm going to try. Do my best. Tonight, we are excited to honor Rockford Public Schools' outstanding students, coaches, and teachers, and celebrate their great achievements. Please come up to be recognized when you hear your name or team called. All right. First up, bass fishing. Guilford High School's bass fishing team qualified for this year's state tournament, which took place this past Friday and Saturday at Carlisle Lake in Clinton County. The coach is Brian Hanses. Students Jack Markert and Reed Ticknor did the fishing. Congratulations. Are they here with us? Well, let's give them a round of applause anyway. Woo! All right. All right. Okay, the IESA State Bowling Tournament happened last month in Joliet. RPS 205 had many middle school students qualify. 4 girls from Eisenhower: Lennon Kilbreth, Kylie Lease, Addison Harvey, Riker Handy, Isabella Barbuto, and Amelia Masso. From Flynn, we have Isabella McCoy. And from West, we have Addie Beeman. For the boys from Eisenhower, Isaiah Nassab, Landon Severson, Aiden Pelosi, Andy Branson, Kevin Sayarath, Wes Ping. From Flynn, Isaiah Worley, John Bim. From Lincoln, Brock Fuller. And from Marshall, Samuel Spates. Way to go, athletes and coaches. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Last month, Auburn High School students competed with 54 other schools in the first Illinois Individual Science Olympiad State Tournament. Medal honors were for second place in both Chemistry Lab and Dynamic Planet, Jeffrey Matthew and Juan Lin. Second place in Fermi Questions, Besnik Jasufi and Juan Lin. Third place in Ecology, Siri Shenaretti and Besnik Jasufi. Fifth place in Forensics, Sophia Bloomberg and Siri Serenity. Awesome job. Are they here? All right. Auburn had 2 seniors receive an award at the Illinois Principal Association Student Leadership Banquet last month. Carrington Ray Autumn Weatherly served her school as the student council president, boys football manager, captain of the varsity track team, and she is the senior class president. Carrington is an active member of the Kiwanis Key Club and National Honor Society. Outside of school, Carrington serves as a member of the Rockford Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. She is a charter member of the Forest City chapter of Jack and Jill of America, Incorporated. After high school, Carrington will attend Howard University, where she will pursue a degree in psychology, with plans to serve her community as a youth therapist. Way to go, Carrington. She here? Carrington here? Shemaya Tapper played softball, cheered, and was a DECA club member for 2 years. She has been in the National Honor Society since her sophomore year and is also currently an active student government and student council member. Shemaya has been able to balance all of this while working part-time since her freshman year. Shemaya is also currently participating in an internship as an interior designer. After high school, she plans to attend Southern Illinois University, where she will pursue a degree in interior design. Congratulations to you as well. Come on here. All right. All right. We are thrilled to announce the success of students from Flynn Middle School and Auburn High School in the Illinois Future Problem Solving Competition. It's a platform for critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills among students. Participants are challenged to consider broad topics and envision how to address future challenges. Several students from both schools achieved outstanding results. Flynn, Asaya Curtis distinguished herself by claiming the top spot in her division through a captivating scenario performance, skillfully addressing the potential challenges of autonomous transportation. John Newbauer's exceptional narrative about the hazards of unregulated tourism in Antarctica secured him first place in his division. Both students spent several months researching, writing, and editing their scenarios. Maddox Edmondson and Jocelyn Ayala also attained recognition for their outstanding scenario writing. Other students who participated and were recognized were Eileen Garcia, Presley Reese, Lily Fulkerson, Kane Powers, Adele Cayozo, and Jaquan Harris. One of Flynn's teams took 6th place in the oral presentation category, and Coach Aubrey Barnett was honored for 10 years of service in the organization. At Auburn, under the guidance of Liz Crempota, achievements in the competition include first place in both the AAT writing and scenario writing competitions, Jayla Yardley. Second place in the art competition, Jade Stone. Second place in presentation action, planting competition, Damian Thompson, Caleb Sales, Seth Garcia, Muhammad Suleiman, and Jayla Yardley. Rookie Team of the Year trophy. 3 of the winning students will now advance to the international level of competition. Jayla Yardley, Damian Thompson, and Muhammad Suleiman. It will focus on the critical issue of air quality, reflecting the pressing environmental concerns facing our planet. The students will proudly represent their school, our district, the state of Illinois, and the U.S. The international competition will be held from June 6th to June 9th at the University of Indiana in Bloomington. Participants from 37 states and multiple countries will gather for this prestigious event. The individuals who played a significant role in bringing this Future Problem Solvers program back to our schools and nurturing it to its current success are Barnett, who initiated the program, Krampota and Kara Wolf. With all their efforts, it has been expanded and flourished. Rockford Public Schools previously participated in the program in the 1980s and 90s. Congratulations to everyone involved. Are they here? Anybody? All right. That's right, that's right.
Nice to see you.
All right. The purpose of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council is to present student voice to the superintendent and the school board, and to represent the superintendent in Rockford Public High Schools and in the community. Their goal is to bridge the gap between their peers and the RPS 205 administration by elevating student voice directly to the superintendent and educating their peers about the workings of the district. We would like to recognize this year's SSAC for all their efforts. From Auburn, Cecilia Fumo, Jessica Garcia, Travante Green, William Lewis, and Logan Nolly. From East, Isabella Galvin, Ben Givens, Alejandra Gonzalez, and Ella Gray. From Guilford, Landon Bakhta, Habiba Kamel, Stella Seminario, I think I got that, and Reese Zedeker. From Jefferson, Isabella Flores Delgado, and Aliana McKee. Thank you all for representing your peers and helping advise district leadership. Come on up, I saw y'all. Yeah, good job. Good call. Good call. I did want to say what's up to the parents. So congratulations. Thank you. You're welcome. Congratulations. Good job. Good work. Good job. Thank you. And before everybody leaves, let's give a big round of applause for all our recognitions. Thank you for coming out. Have a great evening. I see teachers in the room, parents in the room, coaches. It all works together. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. All right.
We are now on to the petition and communication portion of our meeting, where we invite the public to make comments. The board will not respond to the comments at this time. One moment, please. Thank you. I am so sorry.
Thank you. I'm Sue Thedeen. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Greater Rockford. So thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing, and thank you for giving us a few minutes here. We are a nonpartisan organization, and one of our favorite things to do is to collaborate with the school systems and to work with the students to educate them about how the voting process works and to inspire them to register to vote and get out and vote. So we're here tonight to talk about two really exciting programs that we have. The first one is teaching lessons in democracy to the 5th grade students at Ellis Elementary. And Rhonda Greer-Robinson is here. She's going to talk a little bit more about that. And then the second thing we're going to talk about is we worked with the 4 Rockford high schools to register voters. And Carol Bailey is going to tell you a little bit more about that really exciting program as well. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Greer-Robinson. I worked with Ellis 5th grade students on democracy. It was an exciting event. The kids had the opportunity to do a mock election, so they had to go home and interview someone at home and question them why haven't they voted or will they vote. So it's really something I think that needs to be implemented within the schools. So as we push forward and get our students engaged, it's one thing that they have to know how important their vote is. We talked about different rules within the schools in reference to lunches, to rules, and they had opportunity to vote on those different events, like, you know, would you rather have chocolate milk or strawberry milk? Or would you rather have homework? Chocolate. Someone say chocolate. Would you rather have homework, or would you rather spend time with family? So it threw a lot of good questions out there. You know, homework loss. So we have these wonderful certificates to give out to Ellis students who all participated within the class. We had people from City Council who joined us, and they also helped with the lessons. So it was some delegating going on and some good learning going. So thank you, Rockford Public Schools, for allowing us to step into some of the schools. I tried to do another school too, but next year, hopefully we can hit more of the middle schools. So we have these wonderful certificates to give to the student, and we have our assistant principal here, Mr. Lamb, and we have a certificate for him to share at Ellis, along with the students getting their certificates. And Mr. Lamb.
2 of the teachers also who weren't able to be here tonight.
We had 2 teachers. I drove them crazy, but they worked with me. Brianna Jackson and Eric Pearson. They were wonderful with letting me guide them through the lessons. So I'm not going to talk long. I don't want you to get stuck here in a storm.
Yeah. Okay. Ellis Elementary. Thank you, Rhonda.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carol Bailey. I'm chair of the Voter Services Committee of the League of Women Voters, and we have Champions of Democracy certificates for the 4 public high schools: Auburn, East, Jefferson, and Guilford. And representatives are here from all of those schools. Come on up. This year we tried a different method of registering voters, and we asked the schools to allow us to come into the classrooms where we were with kids and registered kids that way. And these 4 high schools stepped up big time. They are the only public and or private high schools in the region who registered more than 100 students to vote. again, that was thanks to the teachers who are here and some who couldn't be. Bryce Thomas from Guilford, Eliana McKee is representing Jefferson, George Bathji and Jackie Henley from East, and we don't have anybody from Auburn. But Jonathan Loggeman and Brandy Salivar and Auburn are also receiving certificates. The work of putting together a registration drive like this in the classrooms, the teachers had to spend a lot of time figuring out who, what, where, and when. And then when they handed me this schedule, I had to figure out who, what, where, and when too. But nonetheless, they all did a fantastic job. The kids were wonderful. We really enjoyed being in the classrooms. And we hit a bit of a historic milestone of 1,000, in excess of 1,000 registered voters, and 500 plus of which were from these 4 public high schools. So I want to congratulate them and award the certificates to them. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we're back to our petition and communication portion of the meeting, where we invite public to make comments. The board will not respond to comments at this time. If it is appropriate, you will be contacted in a timely manner by staff. Each speaker will be allowed no more than 3 minutes to address the board. It is not appropriate to discuss matters that would otherwise be confidential in such open meetings. If you look at your left, you will see 2 digital clocks. One shows the total time allotted to public comments, and one shows the total time for each speaker. We thank you for your cooperation. I will read 2 names at a time. The second one, please move yourself towards the front to be next to speak. The first speaker would be Mr. Paul Noli, followed by Mr. Bill Bull.
Good evening. Well, thank you, everyone. Good evening, Board President Pearson, members of the board. My name is Paul Nolly, Director of Project First Rate, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization for the construction industry. On behalf of the thousands of hardworking local tradespeople and those aspiring to become tradespeople, I want to thank you all for engaging in open, candid conversations about public bidding policies, increasing opportunities for students who want real education after high school but may not be interested in college, and how these 2 topics intersect. I believe we all share a vision of a community where all young people, regardless of their zip code or socioeconomic status, have opportunities to earn an education that challenges them and prepares them for careers where they can be financially independent and achieve their own goals. When public bodies commit to contracting with companies that do the right thing for their workers and the community by properly training and classifying their tradespeople and demonstrating their ability to perform work safely and efficiently on behalf of taxpayers, everyone wins. It's a win for taxpayers who receive greater value and assurances in public construction. It's a win for the public body, which can create and use new tools and protections to steward those precious taxpayer dollars. And it is a win for the next generation of tradespeople who will have more opportunities for post-secondary education and real rewarding careers, not just jobs, careers. Thank you again for these productive discussions and considering putting these values into practice through public bidding policy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The attention span of a human being is 7 seconds. Wish me luck. My name is Bill Buell. I'm a product of RPS 205. I retired in 2011 after 34 years as a teacher both at Eisenhower and Guilford. I've been subbing for the last 10 years in this district. My cumulative W-2s since 14 exceed $50,000. I have been in every building, every middle school, and some elementary schools. I'm also a member of the Golden Apple Academy. Time does not permit me to share the positive and enlightening moments I've experienced in the classroom. The reason I'm here tonight is to address Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, not February 2nd, but the symbolic reference to what I see as a sub almost daily when entering a classroom in this district. The vast majority of my days are spent dealing with entitlement, disrespectful behavior, addicts of the parasitic appendage, better known as the device or cell phone. Here are some specific examples of what I've experienced. I'm not going to mention any schools by name. I had 3 U.S. history classes recently. Walked in, Simon was on the board, introduced myself. There's your topic. Students walked in, earbuds in, phones on, 50 minutes they walked out. Not a single student was engaged in the activity. So I tried an experiment the next hour. I didn't say one word. I sat in the chair. These kids walked in, earbuds in, phones out, never even looked at the board and walked out. I was a trifecta, 3 in a row. I have 63 letters of apology here from 7th graders, okay? The only problem, I can only read about half of them. Penmanship, such. December 22nd at 1:37 in the afternoon, I'd been in my old classroom for, I don't have much time, for a week. I had a student walk in, looked at the students in the room, and proceeded to do this. Pop, pop, pop. When I said to him, "Don't sit down, you'll be leaving," he walked up to me and said, "It's a good thing you're not a student in this room. If you were, I would kick your ass." He was given a level 2 because he'd never done it before. The rest of my notes right here basically are organized the fact that your cell phone policy is horrible. It doesn't work. I've been at Auburn right now for 11 days. Today, my 8th hour English class, of which there are 24 kids, 13 were present, 10 of which were on their phones
your time
all
is up.
day.
Thank you for your time. We will now have Zoe Lee, followed by Ms. Ann Rundle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zoe Lee. I'm an attorney and a former educator, and I'm here to comment on the revisions to the board policy on law enforcement intervention, board policy 7.150. These revisions are long overdue, but the revisions that you will be going over tonight are completely insufficient, and I'll highlight 2 reasons why. First, while the proposed revisions clarify that police officers do not serve the role of school administrator, the revisions do not prevent students from being referred to police for disciplinary infractions, even minor ones. This is happening in RPS, and Black students are especially affected. Second, the revisions are completely silent about the harms that students face when they are referred to the police to be ticketed for violations, even minor violations, of the RPS Code of Conduct. To understand this harm, all you have to do is go to the Rockford City Hall on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., as I have done many times, to listen to the students, the Rockford Public School students, talk about their experience as they show up for their ticketing hearings. Many of these students have been accused of committing minor disciplinary infractions that should be addressed by schools internally with evidence-based interventions like counseling or restorative practices. Instead, RPS staff refers these students to police officers who then give them municipal tickets. These students have to then miss school on a Wednesday to attend their hearings at City Hall. And once they get there, they can choose either to miss school again to plead their case in a trial, or they can choose to pay a fine. And I've seen those fines to be at least $100, sometimes $700. Students who miss their hearings frequently face a $750 default. I've talked to students who don't know how they're gonna come up with that money, and I've talked to students in middle school who are confused and scared and don't know why they have to be in front of a city attorney and a hearing officer for a minor incident at school. When this kind of punishment is a possibility that Rockford public students face, school no longer feels like a safe place to be. The board policy needs much more substantial revisions to support all students in their well-being, their growth, and their learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ann Rundle, and I'm here representing the Education Action Team of Eliminate Racism 815. On Saturday, April 27th, a group of us attended a lecture by Dr. Bettina Love in Springfield, sponsored by the Illinois Education Association. Dr. Bettina Love is a professor at Teacher College, Columbia University, and is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Punished for Dreaming: How School Reform Harms Black Children and How We Heal. She also authored the book, We Want to Do More Than Survive. In 2022, the Kennedy Center named Dr. Love one of the next 50 leaders making the world more inspired, inclusive, and compassionate. I'd like to share with you a few things she talked about at that lecture. She spoke about the importance of knowing the history of the Black and brown people in our country. She stated, when we deny our history, we are responding as adolescents who will often deny what they've done, even when the evidence shows otherwise. Being adult means that we own up to our mistakes and apologize. It is time for our education system to be the adult in the room. She stated, teachers will do harm if they don't understand racism. Therefore, Eliminate Racism recommends that all teachers have high-quality, site-based professional development in American history that includes the true history of the contributions and struggles of our Black and brown citizens, with the goal being cultural competency. It should also be part of the mentoring and induction of every new employee. She also spoke about the effectiveness of DEI departments. She said DEI departments must have a budget and staff to have any power to change the way an organization functions. Eliminate Racism recommends that the Rockford Public Schools Board make certain our DEI department has the resources and staff they need to be effective. My closing question is, since we cannot expect different results if we continue to do the same thing year after year, what are your plans to do education differently next year?
Thank you, Ms. Rundle. The next two speakers is Mr. Paul Pickard and Jennifer Arias.
Good evening. My apologies for not being able to make it to a board meeting this year. I have a one-year-old daughter at home. I'm seeking my master's degree, and up until today, I was teaching an extra class of seniors at Auburn, but I still have my daughter, but the class is over and the seniors are done. So, very quick celebration that I wasn't able to get here a month or two ago for. We've been offering a class called Transitional English 12 here in the district for a couple of years now. Very quickly, essentially, it's a college prep course. We are transitioning you to college level writing. For the last several years, though, as we've been partnered with RVC, it has only counted as college placement for RVC. That's the goal of the class. It doesn't count for college credit, but you don't have to worry about the AccuPlacer. There's no worry about ending up in remedial college coursework for composition. As of about a month and a half ago, we have now been approved for portability for the entire state of Illinois. So now any student who gets a C or better throughout the course year long can go to any college, any university, anywhere in the state, and they go right into Comp 101. There's no AccuPlacer, there's no worry about remedial coursework. So I've meant to be here about a month or two ago to celebrate that, but I figured tonight's as good a night as any. The other thing, and the main thing I came here to speak to, I submitted a Let's Talk for this morning. I emailed the board president, and I appreciate the very quick reply. But we need to do, as we've already heard, we need to do something about cell phones in classrooms. Our mission says here that our goal is to engage all students, but we're giving them too many opportunities to disengage themselves. I was just looking at the code of conduct shortly before the meeting began. I don't believe the language for cell phone policy has changed that much since I began in 2017. It refers to how if they're being used for educational purposes, then et cetera, but we have the Chromebooks now. That's the technology that we can use for educational purposes. They don't need the cell phones anymore. There are no good arguments left for why they need cell phones during class time. I understand that toothpaste isn't going back in the tube. It's a logistical, legal nightmare to say they're banned from campus. Practices get canceled, rides have to get changed, and people need to be in contact with their families, et cetera. But we need something to limit their ability to use them during the school day. I understand the argument historically has been, well, teachers should just confiscate them, but then that becomes the issue of I'm spending most of the class period doing that. Then the argument becomes, we'll just confiscate everyone's at the beginning of the class period. Well, now we've actually arrived at the same conclusion, which is that they need to go away when class starts, even if we need to force them to go away. I know there is a company called Yonder that is selling pouches that more concert venues and other schools districts are using, where they're essentially locked up and magnetized, and there's certain places that are designated where they can be unlocked with the magnet. I think that that is something we should consider looking into. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm new to Rockford. I haven't lived here quite a year yet. I haven't really been happy with the school district, though. April 22nd, my son, who's 9 years old, who's the sweetest kid you will ever meet, and I'm not being biased, he really, really is, he had a student threaten to bring a gun to school in his backpack and shoot him in the face. And we thought the problem was over because he didn't return to school the next day. May 7th, he returned to the school, and before school even started, walked straight up to my son to intimidate him again. And my son was scared. He went to the front desk. He asked to go home. He did not feel safe being in that school. And he's at McIntosh. We thought it was a good school. And he ended up not going to school for 2 weeks because he was afraid of the student. This student was allowed to go to school. We didn't know of any safety implementations, any protocols that had been put in place, nothing. The school said nothing to us. So my son had to stay home. I had to stay home with him and try to homeschool him with limited knowledge on what he's learning and what the materials are. I'll tell you what, though, I learned a lot about the explorers that discovered different parts of the country here over the last 2 weeks. But my son missed out on so much, and this kid got to live it up. And today, he's up for expulsion. My kid should not have to feel unsafe in that school, and neither should the other students, because this kid has a history of slapping, hitting, punching other kids in the face, neck, and head. Why is he still allowed in this school? Why is this allowed? And more than that, why was the school not allowed to tell me about the safety procedures that they had implemented to protect my son? Because they didn't tell me, the sergeant did. After 2 weeks of me crying and begging and trying to figure out what to do to keep my son safe. I even called the school district and asked about a safety transfer. I was tossed around to 6 different people, and in fact, one of them told me not to bother because they've never seen a safety transfer go through, so it wouldn't matter if I tried. The 5 other people told me that I needed documentation to prove that this had happened to my son, documentation they already had because they had already considered his expulsion and allowed him back. As a parent, in my position, how would you feel? The word you're looking for is bad, scared, angry, furious. So as you go to your closed meeting today, please do not let that kid back. My kid, my son Caius, the other children at McIntosh deserve safety. They deserve better.
Thank you. Mr. John Tack Bradley, followed by Ms. Claudia Marshall.
Thank you. Finally. Good evening, board.
Good evening.
I want to reiterate on what they was talking about. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I have to bring it up about the cell phone. At Kennedy Middle School, we had an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old that got on their cell phones in the classroom, got into it over a 13-year-old boy. As soon as they stepped out the classroom, the 12-year-old jumped on the 11-year-old, mind up breaking her jaw. The 11-year-old got a 3-day suspension. The 12-year-old is expelled out of school. There should be something done about the use of cell phones in the classroom. The reason why I'm here, because I want to talk about live, learn, and play, and how you go about rectifying the situation where grassroots groups can be able to receive funding. I'm appalled at the fact that when they talk about funding, our organization, Renewal Turning Point, we received $840 for donations. We went through $8,597.76 that came straight from the community. At the beginning of January, all the way up to this here month, we do an annual 4-year, stop that. We do an annual of 4 years per month, and we received $3,831.25 in donation. So far, we went to $29,834.76. We want to thank Earl Dawson Jr. and my other brother from another mother, I did say Earl Dawson Jr. and Dr. Reed. Me and Dr. Reed gave me a call today. We need to rectify the situation. I have 5 elementary schools. I have 3 middle schools. I'm moving over 40 kids, taking them to school, picking them up from school. The principals have worked with me where our kids do not get counted for being late. They do get credit towards their school grades. We have been to Wisconsin. We have been to Chicago, to different events, educational activities for the kids. People have asked me, do you have any funds? No, we do not get any funds from the school board, and we wondering, why is there a red tape? I was informed by someone that said the reason why they don't give me any money is because they cannot control my voice. Well, I say I'm not a bourgeoisie or a Decepticon, but that's why the community look up to me, and we could work with more. We got the YMCA, you got the Boys and Girls Club, you got the Park District, you got Mount Zion Church, and you also got Booker Washington Center have stepped up to the plate to transport our kids. But mind you, all of them are working in the system. Renewal Turning Point, we could have more vehicles, we could have more workers that would be glad to transport our kids to school, because a lot of our kids will not be able to get to school if we do not transport them to school. I got Constant Lane, and I got Lewis Middle School with me. I know my time is up, and we finna go because this is
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. Ms. Elisa Williams, followed by Mr. Ricky Naylor. Claudia, I'm sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. As you know, I'm Claudia Marshall, the president of the REA. I'm here tonight to talk to you about a problem, but probably not the one you're expecting. I hope you're ready to hear it. Frankly, we have a culture problem in this district, and if we don't take the time to fix it, I'm worried for our future. And honestly, we are done assuming good intent. In this district, we all work in an atmosphere that is miasma of distrust, suspicion, anger, and fear. My members distrust their administrators. The administrators distrust my members. No one trusts the board, and all question the motives of the others. We fear that our evaluations are only done to get us, and rather than being affirmations of our skills, they are threats to our livelihood. Rather than seeing the central office as support for our work, it is seen as those people who are out to get us and make our lives more difficult. Our members have passion for our students. We want them to succeed and grow, but we're tired, stressed, and feel unsupported. I could go on, but you get the picture. I'm tired of working and living this way. So are my members. It's time for us all to change, to build something better, to make this a place that people want to work, a place where our members feel heard, supported, and unafraid. We want you to feel that way too. The work is hard. We have children's lives in our hands. We want all of us to stop making it harder. This is not going to be an easy process. We're all going to have to look in the mirror and see our part in the problem. We're all going to have to commit to making changes. We're going to have to learn to trust and learn how to earn trust. This will be especially difficult when we've spent so much time building this current culture. I see a future where we can work together, one where we are involved in decision-making, and one where you don't fear our involvement. I want to work in a district where every voice can be heard, but especially those closest to the students. I want administrators who don't instill fear in our members and teachers who feel supported. I want a community of educators working together for the betterment of all. I want a district that my members want to work in and that students want to learn in. Isn't that what we all want and what we're all here for? Thank you, and I look forward to a fresh start for all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Marshall.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Can you hear me? My name is Elisa Williams. I'm the daughter of Rodolfo and Rhonda Perez. My father was an immigrant from Mexico who came to this country and also became a U.S. citizen. I was born and raised in Rockford and attended Rockford Public Schools. I've taught in this district for 24 years. I speak both Spanish and English and have experience in the monolingual and bilingual classrooms. I am the Area 3 Elementary Director of the Rockford Education Association. I am the mother of 2 special needs adults with autism, as well as a third son who has an IEP, 2 of which are still in the district. I'm an ordained minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm a busy person with a lot on my plate, and I'm very passionate about my job and my involvement in the community. On April 11th, I was sent some questions to answer regarding the upcoming hiring of a new HR director. I was very excited to serve on this team, as were many of my colleagues. I took this very seriously. I took my own time to answer each of the 6 questions thoroughly and professionally, carefully representing those I represent in Area 3. Union members work together to negotiate and enforce a contract with management that guarantees that the things we care about, like decent raises, affordable health care, job security, and a stable schedule. We work together to have better workplaces and working conditions without fear of retaliation. I understand tonight we're voting on the new Chief Human Resource Officer. After reviewing the resume, I'm concerned that the person you have chosen will not represent Rockford or Illinois effectively. Our district alone has well over 2,000 union members. We're teachers, bus drivers, tradesmen, cafeteria workers, secretaries, bilingual interpreters, and parent liaisons. Hopefully, our behavior intervention specialists and IT department will also be unionized very soon and join us. Even our own school board president, Denise Pearson, is a 3rd-generation union family member. These people who have gone before us, including Cesar Chavez, have fought with blood, sweat, and tears to make sure workers' rights were fair and upheld. We cannot forget this sacrifice. We're Illinoisans. Illinois voters made very clear in November that they stand on the side of workers. They passed the Workers' Right Amendment. Illinois became the 4th state in the country to protect collective bargaining in its constitution. This is Illinois. We are a democracy. Unions are welcome here. We believe in unions' rights. It's our job to take our job seriously, to follow all policies and procedures. Our collective bargaining units have worked hard to create our contracts and uphold them. My question is it in our best interest to have anyone? Thank you.
We welcome you to come back for part 2. Mr. Naylor.
Okay. So far tonight we're hearing a lot of complaints about these behaviors in these schools. Now, I know you guys was voting on this SOARS program you guys got. I mean, it's supposed to be going, I'm not here to debate about where y'all put it at. What I'm here to offer Dr. Jarrett is opportunity to bring another program to that program. Now, you guys got the Summit program, but you see here, we also have another program, the same program called the SOARS program, but the program that we looked at is designed specifically for these kids that y'all got these problems with, these young American black boys and Hispanic boys. So so I know Board President Pearson, I want some numbers all the time, so I'm not going to go and say, well, let me go back and get the math and come back. I'm telling you, it's going to cost about $50,000. I mean, just start out with, I got a team already in place, and Dr. Morgan and Dr. Reed, no, I don't put these teams together to do this nonsense. Like some of these teams that have been approaching Dr. Gallagher about some business with this school, their numbers have been real crazy. And I said, look, you got to get those numbers down or you're not going to get no benefit with that school. So we know some of these things that go on. Now, so where that money can come from, if this program is like $1 million program, none of that money should be probably spent on that program in the first couple of months, because unless the plan is to bring those kids in from day one, then there should not be no money spent on that program. So that's a lot of savings right there. I mean, basically, you're talking about what, $100,000 program each month. So if you could cut that, if you don't start that program right away, then there'll be savings. Then you can give me that you get the $50,000 up front to go ahead. Either this other team can come in and tweak that program, or just start something different. And like I told Dr. Gallagher, you got 3 classrooms. We can have the alternative program in one of those classrooms, and you could have the original program from Summit in the other classroom, which, Summit, like the Summit program is just basically, like they said in the presentation, just behavior modification. The program that we got, the other program, the other guys want to come in here and do is going to cover a whole bunch of issues that these boys are going through. So now, when I talk to them tonight, I'm going to say, you know what? We can put together a proposal for Dr. Jarrett, Dr. Gallagher, and student services. They can look at that and then look at the program from Summit and look at the program that these other guys put together. We're talking about college professors. These guys got PhDs too, and also these guys have experience in running programs that y'all need. So we'll leave right there and let you guys, go back and talk about it and get back with those guys. They're good people.
Thank you, sir. We are now on action items. Is there a motion and a second to approve item 4A?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 4B?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 4C?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent. We are on to board policies that proceed through governance committee.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 5A?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
Is there a motion and a second to approve item 5B?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
We are now on to the consent portion of our meeting. I have a motion and a second to approve the items listed in Section 6, Performance Monitoring Committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any consent items in Section 6 that the board members would like to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
May I have a motion and a second to approve 7A under Stakeholder Committee?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll for 7A.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
May I have a motion and a second to approve items in Section 8, Planning and Development Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any consent items board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the items listed in Section 9, Governance Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any consent items in Section 9 that board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
We are now on to the closed session consent agenda, including requests for administrative transfer, workers' compensation settlement agreement, appointment of Brenton Silverson as 10-month elementary dean assigned to Westview Elementary School, appointment, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, Shahrazad Sekali as 10-month elementary dean assigned to Rolling Green, appointment of Christina Porzel as 10-month elementary assistant principal assigned to McIntosh, appointment of Sarah Watson as 10-month assistant principal assigned to Jefferson High School, appointment of Cyrus Wimberly as 12-month assistant principal assigned to Jefferson, appointment to Taryn Turner as 12-month director of alternative education programming assigned to the administration building, appointment of Sarah Brenner as 12-month executive director of schools assigned to the administrative building, appointment of Takana Crowder as 12-month chief human resource officer assigned to the administrative building, HR organizational report. May I have a motion and a second to approve the items in Section 10?
So moved.
Are there,
Second.
thank you, Mr. Schubert. Are there any closed session consent items board member wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
We are now on student discipline. The following students would be expelled for the remainder of 2023-24 school year through the entire 2024-25 school year. H0110X24 and H0111X24. P0195X24 will be expelled for 2 calendar years through May 20th, 2026. The following students would be offered an expulsion in advance agreement for the remainder of 2023-2024 school year through the entire 2024-2025 school year. H0105X24, H0106X24, H0108X24, and P0212X24. H0112X24 would be offered an expulsion and advance agreement for the remainder of 23-24 school year through the first semester of 2025-2026 school year. The 10-day school out of school suspension is affirmed for H0093X24. May I have a motion and a second to approve the items in Section 11, Student Expulsion and Suspension Appeals?
So moved. Second.
Are there any items that board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Please call the roll.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
We are now on to student discipline EIAs. May I have a motion and a second to approve items in Section 12, student EIAs?
So moved. Second.
Are there any EIAs the board members wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Mr. Carpenter?
Thank you. 12P, P0192-24.
12P. Any others? Please call the roll on items not pulled in Section 12.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
The motion passes with 5 yeses, 2 absent.
Closed session consent item 12P has been pulled for separate consideration. Please call the roll. May I have a motion? No worries.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Abstain.
Ms. Haley?
Yes.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Schubert?
Yes.
The motion passes with 4 yeses, 1 abstain, 2 absent.
The next item on the agenda is Superintendent's report. Dr. Jarrett, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, and I would like to defer to Ben Gibbons, our representative from the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee. He is going to be sharing his perspective.
Good afternoon, everyone. For everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Benjamin Gibbons. I'm a senior at East High School, and I'm participating in the senior semester program at RVC. So the last semester, I take all my classes at RVC. I'm here to speak to you about how I believe RPS 205 needs to change their high school testing policy. As a district, I believe we need to bring back finals and stricten up our test redo policy, especially when it comes to AP, dual credit, honors, and accelerated classes. I understand why we don't have finals for regular classes, but I believe the people who take honors classes, we need to prep them for college. And without these, we're just setting them up to fail. My personal experience is I would always go above and beyond when I would have to do for test taking. Like if they say memorize A through B, I would look in the textbook and memorize A through Z just because I wanted to practice and get myself ready for college. That is the only reason I did not crash and burn at RVC. I would often have to spend around 3 to 5 hours every day doing homework and in the library. Often, my peers, I'm not sure, are going to be able to handle this and know how to. I know multiple students at East who are planning on also having very difficult majors, but since they don't have any finals or they can pretty much retake any test they want, I'm just concerned that even though we're getting them the Rockford Promise, we're getting them to college, our academies are showing them what these jobs are like, I'm concerned that we're just setting them up to fail. Kids, like I had a final this year that was 40% of my grade. I've never had anything like that. And I shouldn't say that my biggest comparison to that final was a test I took in 8th grade while I still had finals. Another example is one of my classes, my dual credit biology class. After our first test, I had the highest grade on that test by over 20%. Often, most of the kids who dropped the dual credit part to retake all the tests. So instead of learning how to study the material, we're just teaching them to redo it and retake it over and over again. Thank you for hearing my issue I brought.
Thank you, Ben. Really appreciate hearing student voice. And Ben, thank you so much for your perspective on opportunities for improvement with grading policy. And with that, I will conclude my comments as well.
Thank you, Superintendent Jarrett. The next item on the board provides the opportunity for board member discussion. Are there any board member comments, action steps, other business, new business, or agenda recommendation, or any other matters to discuss? Anyone? Okay.
Okay. I would like to just reiterate what the mayor said about the Rockford Promise Night. I attended there on Monday, and it was just a beautiful sight to be seen. Additionally, I want to shout out to the Kennedy track team. You know, it was like watching it live, you know, through the posts on Facebook about their making it a state, and some of the students actually even placing first. And also, just to comment on what the superintendent's
Mr. Gibbons.
Mr. Gibbons, I'm sorry, said. So I attended Rock Valley's College's Sankofa event, which is kind of rites of passage celebration for African-American graduates. And there were several students in attendance who were from RPS 205 who were graduating with their associate's degree in either of the various programs. And I thought that it was kind of funny. You know, Rock Valley College has already graduated, so we have the students that have their associate's degrees before they have their bachelor's degrees. So it just was a great program, and I think that's it.
Anyone else? So I definitely want to recognize Kennedy's track team. You know, sometimes you hear so much negative, and negative can sometimes overshadow the good. Not that we shouldn't be attentive to what's going on globally in our district, but I want to pause to say congratulations to Kennedy's track team and the other middle schools as well. I understand that Eisenhower made it to state, and Guilford. So, you know, those extracurricular activities really help boost many of our students. I want to recognize Jason Pope, Dr. Antoine Reed, and their team for the efforts that they're putting forth in the recruiting piece. In regards to our teachers, I know that we celebrated our teachers before, but I try not to never conclude without saying thank you to our teachers and their efforts. Even those who extremely love teaching express their concerns as they enter the school and what the day may bring. So I appreciate the work that our teachers are doing. I want to welcome back Ms. Jarmise McNeil and congratulate her in her promotion and the growth. I'm glad that she didn't leave when others was pulling on her. So thank you, Ms. McNeil, for staying the course. And in terms of Rockford Promise, this was my second year not being successful in meeting it. And I certainly am appreciative of the work that's being done. I believe that if we just be patient, change is coming. And it's the right now moment that can be very frustrating and tiresome. I want to say this, and as we work together as a district, Superintendent Jared and I, sometimes more than I desire, may disagree. However, we have to agree to disagree and find a way to continue to work together. And the only way that we're going to make a difference in this district is to put forth a greater effort to do what is necessary for the greater good of our students as well as the organization. So no one's job in this district is necessarily easy. We're faced with many challenges and we have many opportunities. But I do ask that we try to find a common ground and work with that. That being said, when we are wrong, including me, we have to take ownership of that and then make a decision to come up with a plan that is workable, that will cause success in our district. So this is not a board president's address. I just wanted to share that. I'm appreciative of all the comments and the words that we've heard. I do ask that the schools really respond to the distraction of our cell phones. I understand that we're living in a different time, and we do have a policy, and policies are in place for a reason. So I'm asking that our schools pay attention to the policies, that parents respect the policies, if there's something special going on in family, that is well communicated, so accommodations that is appropriate be provided. And that's all I have. Is there any other business before the board? If not, I'll take a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Good night.